In this video, I'm talking to my friend Pola, who is a travel blogger originally from Poland and currently living in Paris. There's two sections to this video. The first section is me running through my favorite 20 questions, my must-know questions, me asking her those questions. This happens to be in Polish, but this is a method that anyone can use using any language. Be able to ask these questions, and we're going to talk about how asking those questions is easier for me since I don't speak Polish very much. The second part of the video is going to show a structural template that creates instant conversation. And I mean that. Instant conversation in any new language. My question for you is, if you're learning a language and you're not doing instant conversation, I don't know, what's the next part of that question? When are you going to converse? Why not do instant conversation? So with no further ado, here are my 20 questions, followed by the second section, which is showing the template we use to create instant conversation. Next thing we
I
do.
think creating instant conversations is your jam. I remember my first Spanish lesson with you. I was like, I did not know that I could do this.
So let's say a person is like zero at some language, right?
Yeah.
Um, I've got 20 questions that are like my favorite questions, like my must know questions. You know what I mean? If you can't answer those 20 questions, then you have problems.
Yeah.
Right? Like you need to be able to
Gotcha.
answer
Yeah.
these questions. Embedded in those questions is the DNA of the language. So I've converted them into Polish.
Oh, Portuguese.
By the way, Paula, questions 1 through 5 or even 6 and 7, a lot of them are what I call golden questions. Golden means infinite, like, like the golden spiral. Infinite in what way? Well, there's infinite possible answers. Like if I ask you what's your name, you'll get the same answer
Yeah.
every day. But if I ask you what are
Yeah.
you doing right now or where are you, you get a different thing every moment.
Okay. Okay.
Just
Yeah.
throwing that out
Yeah.
there. I
Oh,
prioritize golden questions over non-golden questions in terms of language learning because it's juicier. Like if I
huh.
asked myself or kept a journal, like a notebook, what are you doing now? Okay, ask me 20 minutes from now. What are you doing now? I'd go, and the world is teaching me, like
Yeah.
life is teaching me what to learn now. I recently realized the biggest difference between how children learn language and how adults learn language, it's not because of this and because of that. Like there's a lot of ways things you could say. The biggest
Mhm.
difference is that the child never learns anything that they don't need in that moment.
True. That's true. Very true. Sorry, like with you, it's always like this. It's
No, it's very
just
cool.
like languages. I do miss that,
No,
I
for
really
sure.
do.
All right, so let me ask you a question. Not a Polish question, an actual question.
Okay.
Imagine me asking you these 20 questions versus you asking me them.
Yeah.
What's harder for me?
I mean, if I asked you these questions in Polish, you would have to answer in Polish.
Right. That's harder, right?
Yeah.
I would argue
Mm-hmm.
the hardest thing in language is answering questions
It is.
in
It is.
speaking.
100%. So the reason I'm freaking out about this TV appearance that I postponed is because I'm like, it's a live debate. What the hell am I going to do if I don't know the questions ahead of time? And I
That's
like on
some
live TV, I like mess up my grammar.
ah, that's some
I
high
know. And
level.
Frenchies don't forgive very
Yeah.
easily.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Live
when I
debate
taught
on
it
TV in French.
in freaking French.
All right. So
So
me answering is definitely harder, which is
no doubt.
which is why one of the sort of modes of advice that I'm trying to put out there is, if you're learning Spanish, find a teacher or a friend or anyone who's down like to do this and ask them questions. So
Can
if
I see the Polish questions
right,
and
so
tell
if
you what
I said
ChatGPT got wrong?
Oh, by the way, don't correct. It's Chat GPT. I'm sure that's wrong or that's better.
No, so far it's good, but there's a better way to.
Don't worry about it. Just keep it in Polish for me. In fact, let's keep it in Polish until I've asked you all 20 questions. So there's no, oh, let's chat about this, or, oh, I want to point out something interesting. We're in survival mode. We only speak Polish starting now. Dobrze?
Może być.
Pola, jak się masz?
Dobrze.
A gdzie jesteś tutaj?
Jestem w domu.
Co robisz?
Rozmawiam.
Co dzisiaj robiłaś?
Dzisiaj pracowałam.
Pracowałaś.
Tak.
Dobrze. Pracowałaś w domu?
Tak, w domu.
Dobrze. Co zamierzasz robić jutro, Pola?
Jutro idę na spotkania.
Bardzo dobrze.
Na 2 spotkania.
Bardzo dobrze. Jaka dzisiaj jest pogoda?
Dzisiaj trochę słońca, trochę chmur.
Słońca?
Trochę słońca.
Trochę słońca.
Tak.
Dobrze. W Paris, nie?
Jest w Paryżu, tak, ale
Paryżu.
jest trochę zimno w Paryżu.
Zimno.
Troszeczkę.
Trochę. Dobrze.
Mhm.
A co u ciebie nowego?
Co u mnie nowego? Jadę do Portugalii za miesiąc.
I have follow-up questions that I can't ask. Jak masz na imię? Jak masz na imię, Pola?
Nazywam się Pola.
Pola, okej. I skąd jesteś?
Jestem z całego świata.
Skąd jesteś?
Dużo miejsc. Mam 3 domy.
Dobrze. That's pretty fun, right? And this is like the fast version. This is not, imagine you're my teacher and we were actually, like, I was really trying to learn this. You would say, okay, ask me questions, and then you give your answer, and then you, okay, let me write down your answer and let me learn your answer. If we spent an hour or two like that, or a few days, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying we should do it, but I'm saying as a teacher, if you did that, the person would go, oh my gosh, like I can, imagine being able to answer those 20 questions. It's like your first week. If you did a question a day, after 20 days, you'd go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, that's the game. That's how the game is played.
Yeah. So are you like in your teaching, you're doing this, or what's the deal?
Yeah, I do that, and then I've got this like this like extra system. Want to see the system really quick?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, this is actually the shit. There are 3 sort of levels to the template. All right, it works in any language. Like here it is filled in English, like with whatever. This 3 sort of layer chart processes any one question. Like in Polish, what are you doing right now? Okay.
Co robisz teraz?
Co robisz? Okay, so the very first thing you do, VSP is verb starting point. It's 3
Okay.
columns, okay? So my answer to you was I'm working. We know that the question is going to be what are you doing right now? That's an open-ended question. Co dzisiaj robisz? I don't know all of the fucking accent marks right now. So just for the concept. We could do this in any language. I just want to show you that it's like, but pracuję w domu, that's the thing that you want the learner to be able to say like right away. So you take the verb and you mix and match with vocab, right? So pracuję w domu.
Yeah.
Or pracuję w office, or pracuję w downtown Chicago, or whatever they want to say. And then it's worth knowing that, I guess, pracujesz or something. Is it like that? All right.
Yeah.
Generally, so pracujesz w domu. So now we have what I call instant conversation. So say to me, Tony, are you working from home? In home, you know?
Tony, pracujesz w domu?
Useful expressions. Tak. Dzisiaj w domu, no? So you could ask me, Tony, pracujesz w domu? You could say pracujesz dzisiaj w domu. And I can say
Pracujesz
tak.
zawsze w domu?
Zawsze?
Okay.
Zawsze is always. So ask me, do you always work in home?
Pracujesz zawsze w domu?
Nie pracuję zawsze w domu. A ty? And you? A ty? Pola? Pracujesz zawsze w domu?
Tak.
Tak.
Prawie zawsze. Prawie zawsze.
Almost? Prawie zawsze is almost always. So I work almost always at home. Question for you, Pola. Pracujesz prawie zawsze? Pracujesz zawsze w domu?
Nie zawsze, ale prawie zawsze.
Okay, prawie zawsze. Okay. Ask me, Tony, pracujesz zawsze w domu, ale pracujesz prawie zawsze w domu?
To i pracujesz w domu zawsze, czy nie zawsze?
Pracuję prawie zawsze w domu. Nie zawsze.
Okay.
Prawie zawsze.
I love that.
We're creating this reflex. Okay, so that's chart one. It creates instant conversation. Next thing we do.
I think creating instant conversations is your jam. I remember my first Spanish lesson with you. I was like, I did not know that I could do this. So.
Your open-ended question is, what are you doing? Co dzisiaj robisz? So ask me, Tony, co dzisiaj robisz?
Tony, co dzisiaj robisz?
Okay, my statement is pracuję w domu. So we don't separate verb and vocab anymore. It's come back together. Pracuję w domu. Column 2 is a yes/no question. So pracujesz dzisiaj, Tony. So ask me, Tony, pracujesz dzisiaj w domu?
Pracujesz dzisiaj w domu?
Tak. Yes/no question. Zawsze? Always?
Aha, zawsze pracuję.
Pracujesz? Nie zawsze.
Zawsze czy czasem pracujesz w domu?
Czasem pracuję w domu.
Okay, prawie zawsze.
That's chart 2. So see how it's like evolved into a next level conversation?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Final thing is your Q&A chart, where you basically collect whatever questions like spawned from this process. And I got to be able to answer these questions. So 3 questions for me here. Can you ask me the first question?
Co dzisiaj robisz?
Dzisiaj pracuję w domu.
Pracujesz dzisiaj w domu?
Tak, pracuję dzisiaj w domu.
Okej. I zawsze pracujesz w domu?
Nie zawsze. Czasem pracuję w domu. Prawie zawsze pracuję w domu. Final point is I'm going to want to know kind of where the verb starting point that kicked this all off comes from. Bold and fuchsia is the way I like to, Verbs are generally past, present, or future. First, second, third person. First, second, third person. Singular, plural. Yeah. So I may or may not want to conjugate all the way through. But it's up to the discretion of one, be it you or me. You could even say, if you wanted to go crazy, you could say, there's pracowałeś, right?
CO, but yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying you have that chart available for you. Right. You say, you worked from home yesterday, and then you have a whole new you start over. It's an infinite conversation generator, like a mega hyper infinite conversation generator, and an infinite curriculum generator, like lesson planner. Like we should just.
Okay. Do you teach
just like this website? in Zoom with sharing my screen?
And how do you find your students?
YouTube.